So, a big loss today of the famous Reverend, I believe it was Jesse Jackson. I almost said Al Sharpton. That's how um, Black Lives Mattered out I am. Um, One of the first things I remember Reverend Jackson for was he brought the fucking shirt after MLK got shot. He brought the printout, and he got mocked for that. Some celebrated it, but he brought the fucking shirt out to the press and said, "Look at this blood on the shirt. What are you people going to do now?" I think a lot of people, and even myself, originally thought he was showboating it, trying to get credit for being there on the street with his brother. But now I kind of see the importance of that, even if it was just a marketing ploy. You got to bring the shirt to the screen. You got to show the people what has been done. It makes me want to go over some of this recent ICE footage that has happened, especially the shooting of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. You wonder if the shootings of, and also the fact that that young migrant boy was deported to a detention center in Texas, and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands more, will be as ICE continues to maneuver, especially throughout Pennsylvania and through the Omarion Belt. And that is South Dakota, North Dakota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and I'm probably forgetting one other place too, along the former Blue Wall, which will now be the Omarion Belt for Ilhan Omar. But no, Reverend Jackson, NAACP man himself, also the fighter of Vieques, which I've learned more and more is a potential nuclear waste site. High levels of carcinogens. They have the bioluminescent bay. I've been in it. And really, in looking at pictures of it, wondered if it was just covered in a lot of radioactive material. I came back fine, but it's still very interesting to hear the sad stories of the people that lived there getting poisoned and potentially also fighting back against the state, which is something you don't see that much of. And that gets us further into Reverend Jackson's legacy. I believe he was one of the founders of the NAACP, and I wonder if he would be proud of the work that it does today. I have actually not heard of it doing that much. I don't know if it's been tied up in news feeds or certain algorithms, but it's my understanding it's kind of become more of a ACLU type situation where it brings cases in understanding and maybe honor and maybe not the original civil rights cause that I would understand. And also, not being black myself, maybe I wouldn't get it either, the NAACP. And maybe I'm mixing him up with Al Sharpton still, but I think he might laugh at that. But yeah, bringing the shirt to the print, man, to the press, showing what happened. I gotta actually pause and make sure that that was him. So I just watched the Jose Williams tell stories of MLK assassination and his thoughts on Jesse Jackson. It's on Black Liberation Media on YouTube. I don't know how to post links yet, but highly recommend it. Jesse Jackson soaks Martin Luther King's blood on his shirt. And now I feel bad for joking around at the beginning of this conversation, and it really sounds like it was a spur of the moment type assassination of MLK. And my taking of hearing this story and of hearing it through the zeitgeist before was that Jackson might have been a direct splatter of MLK's blood. I know that's very graphic and gory to claim, but it makes me think of Malcolm Gladwell's theory as I go African American on everybody, in that people have flash memories of situations where they may identify themselves more in the situation one-on-one or with the person that's the impacted target. And he might not have been focused on Jesse Jackson and perceived Jesse Jackson as arriving on scene and dipping his blood into the shirt after the fact, when it actually kind of sounds like Jackson might have been right next to him as MLK got shot in the balcony. So I'm actually going to look into this a little bit more. Well, again, I feel like a fool for laughing at the beginning. Just watch Reverend Jesse Jackson remembers witnessing the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Also, very CBS Chicago. Looks like it's a tribute out from his death recently. And it seems like, yeah, he was right next to him when King got shot and witnessed him go blank eyes and grab his chest. And probably have his last breaths as he fell on the ground and bled out in front of his crew. It really makes me wonder in my life what I'm actually doing, what causes I'm living for, because I've really looked up to a lot of African American leaders, just to name a few: Barack Obama, Malcolm Gladwell, the Reverend Jackson, even Al Sharpton. But I get bummed out with sometimes my perception of Black Lives Matter, and particularly maybe from being in a corporate setting before, where it was played to the tune of comparing yourself to other individuals and not being in service. Maybe I went wayside with it and forgot to listen to the message of it. But it makes me really want to look more into the work of the NAACP. Hopefully I'll do that when I hear this again later, or even tonight, just out of a respect for this guy passing. I also commend anybody else in the African American community who is feeling the pain of this tonight and has to relive that assassination, because it seems very much like he was taken out by a trained shooter from the war, based on the other individual I was saying, recounting of the story. And I don't know, honestly, if anyone could prove that it was the FBI, or if it was a CIA op, or if it was a Russian agent. It just, as we can see in America, there's a lot of white on black and just anti-race type activity that goes on, and can lead people to engage in such activities. And it leads me finally on the topic, not to take away from African Americans or blacks, but the killing of Charlie Kirk. What are the facts that are generally known in the press? Well, I'll disclose one. I haven't really been following the trial, but it seems like Rudy Giuliani came out targeting the shooter's significant other or boyfriend or something, and is clearly trying to place a trans label onto this assassination attempt. And you would wonder why the President of the United States' attorney is trying to spin the story that way. Giuliani's also a guy that has tremendous footage in 9/11, seen in the streets when the towers are coming down, the smoke's chasing him down the streets, so he has some credibility there, and also knows the cities pretty well. So I wonder if there is more to this on the Charlie Kirk assassination. But in the spirit of, Reverend Jackson, mad respect to him, and look forward to learning more about him.